Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Self-Publishing Bootcamp. This week we are talking about your book release day, and then what do you do? So often I feel like we get so focused on writing the book, we're getting it written, word count, editing, all that kinds of stuff. And then we're publishing and we're putting the book together and we're looking into distributors and printers and the options and all of that kinds of stuff. And then book release day comes and we're like, I didn't think about what comes next. What do I do now? And it's such a weird area for a lot of, especially first-time publishing authors. So today's video is going to focus on your book release day and then what do you do after that. I'm really excited about today's video. I know I've said that every time, but I am just so in love with this process. I love self-publishing. I was offered publishing deals that I turned down, and I'm so glad that I did. I love self-publishing. It is so much fun. So if you're just researching this process and getting to know the lay of the land, or if you're in this thing and you're doing it, then I am so glad you're here. Go ahead and grab a notebook. I have several. I wish I could loan you one. I have a problem. I have an addiction. But yeah, so grab your notebook, grab your coffee, grab your tea. While you're at it, comment down below and let me know what your writing drink is. I am personally a black coffee drinker. Black dark roast, as strong as you can make it. I like mud. Let me know what your drink of choice is and grab yourself a notebook and a pen. Get ready while this intro rolls.
Welcome to Self-Publishing Bootcamp, a YouTube series where we take a different look at self-publishing. From creating professional books to effectively reaching and building an audience, we'll learn how to juggle the hats we all must wear to become successful authors, tackling the process as a reader, as a writer, as a business. Let's dive in.
So, as I said before the intro, today's video is all about what to do after your book is finally released. It is available for purchase. People are hopefully buying it. People are posting reviews. If you had your street team in place, like I told you should, people are already posting book reviews and things like that. You're reading the reviews, you're soaking it all in. It can be an overwhelming time. It's exciting. You're nervous because now it's like that feeling of nakedness. Like people out there are reading it. You can feel exposed. Like there's so many different feelings and emotions and things that you're going to go through during this time. And that is perfectly normal. It is perfectly natural and it is beautiful. Revel in it. So today we're going to be talking about the areas of focus, because there's this tension, I guess. A lot of people are like, okay, well, now that book is out, like, do I focus on marketing because I have to keep marketing it so that people keep buying it, or do I focus on writing the next book and getting the next book out there? We're going to talk about where you should be focusing and what you should be doing. So the answer to that question is marketing versus writing your next book, and the answer to that is yes. You're like, Brandy, that was an or question. I know. But the answer to that is yes, you're going to be doing both. We talked last week about the pre-promo period and your calendar and your posting and you're building up all the hype and all of that kinds of stuff. And so that 1 to 2 months before your book release is already crazy and chaotic. And then sorry about that. That's my cat being a terrorist. Crookshanks. No ma'am. Okay. So you have your book release day. Your book is out. You've spent the last 1 to 2 months really amping up and hyping your audience up for that book release day. So it's been a crazy couple months of just like hitting the ground hard with marketing, right? So that's laying your groundwork. So hopefully during that 1 to 2 months, you really, spread out your reach. You got email subscribers to your email list. You got new followers to your social media platforms, all of that kinds of stuff. So you really laid your groundwork. So now your book is out and you're going to keep marketing, but you're going to kind of ease up a little bit, because you can't just be like bam in your audience's face all the time, because then you're going to be like the boy who cried wolf and like, pay attention to me, something big and exciting is happening, something big and exciting is going on, and people are going to stop listening to that if there isn't actually anything big and exciting going on. So we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about a lot today. I really do hope that you went and got that notebook and pen. So we've got the 1 to 2 months before, which is that pre-promo period, which was last week's video. Before that, you have the writing and the preparing your book for launch, which is episode 1 of the Self-Publishing Bootcamp series. And then today is that 1 to 2 months after your book release. So picking up with your release day, one of the things that you definitely want to have in place that we talked about in last week's video is having a book launch party. So this is just as much for your friends, your family, your readers as it is for you. This is a celebration. You've gotten through this together. This is a way to celebrate and appreciate the people who have supported you this far, all that kinds of stuff. So release day or sometime like that week, whether you wait until that weekend or, whatever, like around your book release day, you want to have a book launch party. I have a tradition, I guess, that we've started that I always have my book launch party at my favorite coffee house down here, which is where I've written probably 80% of all of my books. And so we host a book launch party there, and everyone just comes and we hang out and we do like an author Q&A. I do a reading, we have a book signing, there's merch, there's mingling time and all of that. And it's just a really good time. It's really encouraging for me to see the people show up. It's really cool for everybody else to be able to ask their questions, and, have that experience. It's a fun time for everybody. So definitely have yourself a book launch party and celebrate your book release. After your book launch party, take a deep breath. Promo period is, hitting the ground running. You're go, 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 go. Get the word out, shout, yell everywhere, everyone. And then the book comes out and there's a natural lull. Don't freak out. So there's going to be a period after your book comes out where it is selling like hotcakes. Everyone who knows you is buying their copy. Don't be alarmed when you get the dip. That is normal, that is natural. Everyone who's been waiting for your book to come out bought it when it came out. It wasn't staggered, so that pre-promotional period worked. Your initial sales were great. Don't be alarmed when you get that dip. It's not going to stay up here. That dip is going to happen. That's normal, that's natural. Expect it, be okay with it. It's okay. So that's a really great time to go ahead and take a breath. Pre-promo, book launch, book release day, parties, all of that stuff is exhausting. It's good, but it's exhausting. So take the time to just take that deep breath, celebrate the fact that you did it. It is out there. Your book is in the world. People are buying it. Let it soak in and, comprehend that people are now reading it. So there's maybe that feeling of nakedness that we talked about. People are starting to review it. Maybe not all the reviews are good. That's normal. That's natural. It's okay. So, figure out your plan for that. Like, are you going to read reviews or are you not going to read reviews? Personally, I think it's a good idea to read your reviews. Obviously, you have to be aware when you're reading negative reviews that there are some things that are just personal preference. Maybe that person wasn't your target audience. They picked up your book because they know you. They picked up your book because it sounded like something else, and then they figured out that it wasn't what they were looking for whatever reason. Some people are going to tear your book apart because it's not their personal taste, and that's fine. Don't take those reviews to heart. They read the wrong book. That's personal preference. Now, if you're getting things in your reviews that talk about like your character development, or you weren't clear and they were confused and they weren't really sure what was happening in the story, or your pacing was too slow, or things like that, those are things that are constructive criticism, and you want to listen to those. You want to take that in, and you want to make sure that when you sit down and you start writing the next book, which is what we're getting to, that you improve in that area, that you do that part better. So I think that you can really grow in your craft and you can get better at your job as an author. You can get better and grow if you listen to the negative reviews. And I know it's hard and they suck to read. They really do. Hi, Crookshanks. This is Crookshanks. But you can gain a lot from those. Now, if they're just worded really meanly and the person's just trying to be a jerk, then obviously take that with a grain of salt. But especially if somebody is coming at it from a I really, like, if this had been done this way, I would have liked the book so much more. I liked the book, but this could have been better. Listen to those. Those people are trying to help you. And those people are likely still going to buy the next book and read it. So show them that you're putting in the effort to grow in your craft and to be better. So you'll notice that for today's video, I'm starting out in our writing hat. Because as writers, we want to read those reviews. We want to analyze, we want to grow and improve in our craft. We also want to take that time to rest and realize that you did it. You did it. Your book is out there. People are buying it. People are reading it. People are reviewing it. The thing is happening, and that's awesome. So we're going to take that time to process. We're going to take that time to take that breath and to let it out and to catch our breath for a minute. Maybe take a weekend and just rest and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But then you're going to jump right back in there and you're going to start writing the next book. This is crucial because I have made this mistake. Granted, I didn't really have another option at the time. So my first book came out in 2017, November, and my goal was to release a book a year after that. So my whole series should be out by now, and it's not. It is not. But what ended up happening was I was working 5 jobs to pay bills, live somewhere that's ridiculously expensive. Hello, Outer Banks. So looking at you, kid. And just save up money for publishing costs for the next book, you know, all the things that life throws at us. And so, yeah, I was working 5 jobs and trying to write the second book, and it was insane. I also, if anyone else is in the same boat, I wasn't planning on it, but I'm just going to throw this into this video. So I had written the first 2 books in my series and had started writing the 3rd book when I decided to actually publish the first one. Initially writing the series, I was not planning on publishing it. So that whole getting the first book ready for publishing and everything, I changed a lot. There was a lot of rewriting, a whole subplot line was added, all that kinds of stuff. So I published my first book. It was exciting, and I was like, man, I've already got the rough draft for the second one. I'm gonna be rolling. Like, the second one's just gonna come out next year, and then the 3rd one, I'll have plenty of time. Like, every year I'm gonna publish a book. And that didn't happen. The second book, I had an entire rough draft. The whole book was already written, but I had changed so much in the first book that essentially the rough draft for the second one was not usable, basically at all. And so I spent years trying to work with that rough draft and salvage it and tweak it and change it and put things in and make it work, and it just was not working. And I got to the point where I was like, I hate that I've wasted so much time on this, because what I really should have done to begin with, and what I decided to go ahead and do, was start from scratch and then just take the scenes from the rough draft that I could still use and put them in where they fit. I'm so dumb. I felt so stupid that I didn't think of that sooner, but that it is what it is. Live and learn. So yeah, if you're to a point with a rough draft that you feel like you keep tweaking it and you keep trying to make it work and it's just not working, you're probably going to be better off starting from scratch and then just taking the parts of the rough draft that still work and plugging them in where they do fit. It's going to save you so much time, so much stress. It's going to really free you up and just be so much easier. So that's what I ended up having to do. But that also means that the second book is just now coming out in 2021 when I had planned to publish it in 2018. So there you have it. But I also, like I said, was working a lot of jobs. It wasn't just because I was working that much on a rough draft that wasn't usable. There were a lot of other factors at play. But yeah, you don't want to do that to your audience. I'm lucky that mine stuck around for the most part. But I'm fairly positive that there are people out there who completely have forgotten about me since they might have loved transgression, but they have forgotten about me since then because it's taken me so long to get penance out. Do not make my mistakes. So your book comes out, go ahead and start writing the next one. Do not leave people hanging forever waiting for your next book to come out. So yeah, step 1, your book releases, you take that breath, you process, you start writing. Step 1, start writing. That is the first thing that you need to do after your book release, is get right back to the writing stage. We're starting the process over. You're not starting from scratch, because now you've got that audience that you've built up and all that kinds of stuff, and you're still going to be marketing. You're not marketing anymore. You're not going to crawl back into your hole. You're not going to crawl back into your little writing nook and disappear. Do not do that to your audience. Okay, they have gotten used to you during your promo period being present and engaging with them. They want that to continue. You cannot disappear. Introverts, I'm looking at you, because it's a huge temptation for me. I hate social media. I hate engaging with people. I am so introverted. It is ridiculous. I'm not shy, but I am super introverted, and it is way too easy for me to completely disappear when I'm writing. I will not show up on Instagram, Twitter, wherever. I will go MIA for months, if not years. And I can't do that. So if you're like me, I'm saying it because it's an area that I struggle with. Don't do it. Do not disappear on your audience, okay? Stay engaged. Stay present. And so a lot of people are like, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, while you're writing, that's like the theme for this entire series, probably, because I keep bringing it up. While you're writing, you're going to be doing a lot of other things, but you've got to be writing throughout all of it. Keep writing, because without books, you've got nothing to market, you've got nothing to talk about, you've got nothing to post about, you've got no reason for an audience to be following you. You need books. You need to keep making more books. That's how this whole thing works. So while you're writing, step 2 is you're going to host events. So in that first month or two after your book releases is the time to have yourself a little book tour. Whether you just focus on scheduling your events locally, especially if you're a first-time author, that's a great place to start. Or if you go big and you want to start emailing people all over the country, and, beyond, and scheduling book signings all over the place, then go for it. But that month or two after your book comes out is a really good time to try to host a lot of in-person events, meet your audience face-to-face, build relationships with them. Sorry, I've got the hiccups. Build relationships with them, and continue to build that foundation with your audience and getting the word out there, because word of mouth is great, and nothing really generates word of mouth quite as well as I met the author and I talked to them about their book, and it was, you might not be a celebrity, but when people find out you're an author, for some reason that triggers a response in their brain that's like, oh, you kind of are low-key celebrity status. And it's weird because we're not. A lot of us aren't. Some of us are, but not me. I am not famous. But so you just kind of trigger that response in their brain, and they just think it's really cool that they met the author of a book, and they can tell their friends, I know the author, yeah, they're they wrote this book, you should read it, I know them. I don't know what it is about human beings that we do that, but we do. So host as many in-person, face-to-face events as you can. I know the world that we live in right now makes that a little bit more difficult than it used to be, but if you have the opportunity, take it. It is so worth it. It's a really cool experience for them, but it's also a really cool experience for you. So host a lot of events, your book launch party, and then follow that up with a little book tour. Indie bookstores are a great place, coffee shops even, if you write nonfiction, just different workplaces, conferences, meetings, whatever you can work up. It's just a really good idea to get your face out there and to become known by your audience. That's one thing that actors have the benefit of, everyone sees their face and that's what they're known for, and so people see them in public and they know exactly who that is. Authors fly under the radar a little bit more, because especially if you don't even put a picture of yourself in your book, people don't know what you look like. A lot of times, even if you do put a picture in your book, they don't pay attention to that, so it's not like they recognize you in public. So you have to do a little bit more self-promotion, in that sense. So you're still self-promoting, but you're still at the same time writing. But another thing that you can do is reach out to local groups in your area, like book clubs. If there's a book club that likes to focus on your genre, see if they'd be interested in reading your book and offer to do a discussion with their group when they're done reading. Things like that are really good to meet people in your local area who are going to be excited about it. And again, that generates word of mouth, which is the most effective form of advertising, especially for books. Step 3 is launches. So you're like, well, I already launched the book. I know you did. But nonfiction authors, if you can launch a workbook that goes along with your material, if you can launch an e-course, or you can launch consulting services, or a conference, or a workshop, or something like that, like you can launch these other things that will keep your audience engaged and moving forward. You're basically wanting it to be like a funnel. So nonfiction authors, those are some ideas for you. Fiction authors, you can release special limited editions of your books. You can release character art or merch items. Nonfiction, I guess you can also release merch and things like that. You can also release bonus content. Fiction authors, you can release your deleted scenes, alternate endings, all the things that hit the scrap floor. You can still let your readers read that stuff. So post those things somewhere, somehow, figure it out. There's tons of options for that. You can do that with just your email list subscribers. You can start a Patreon page for your VIPs. Again, like really building up that audience. And so yeah, you can have more launches and more like releases and things to be talking about, because the thing is that you don't want to disappear while you're writing. And you can share the writing process, and you can share sneak peeks and snippets and stuff like that. But if you're also still releasing things, it just gives you something to post about. It gives your audience something to get excited about and be like, oh, did you see these new collector cards that came out, or whatever you want to do. Or nonfiction, like, oh my gosh, that was such a good book, and like, did you see they came out with a workbook? Like, now we can do it. Like, I don't know, stuff like that though. Like, brainstorm ideas and come up with more things that you can launch and release, because that's going to give you some more I guess momentum and stuff, like between book releases, and space them out. Don't do it's like all at once and then you're out and then you're MIA for months, and then all of a sudden you're basically starting from scratch when you start your next pre-promo period. That's what we're trying to avoid, is we're trying to keep their attention. We're not bombarding them, but we're trying to keep their interest and keep their attention between book launches and book promo periods. So the next thing that you want to do is you really want to build your email list. So you don't want it to like only build during pre-promo time and then it stays right here until your next book comes out, and then you'll try to get more addresses. Like, you want your email address list to be doing this. So it might be slow growth, but you want it to be growing. So in addition to launches and releases and things like that, something else that you want to space out and do between book releases is giveaways and raffles and things like that, which are really good ways to get email addresses. And one of the best ways to do giveaways is to partner with other authors that are in your genre, that have a similar audience to you, and do a group giveaway. So group giveaways are great because not only are they more appealing to people who would enter the giveaway, because you're winning like 10 books instead of just one. So that's appealing. But you also have all 10 authors advertising this giveaway. So you're reaching 10 audiences worth of readers. Everyone from all 10 of your audiences is subscribing and entering this giveaway. And then at the end of the giveaway, all 10 authors get all of the email addresses. So you've just gotten 9 other audiences to add to your own audience. This is huge, guys. Group giveaways are some of the best ways to build your email marketing. So do them again and again and again. Don't do the same group of authors every time. Partner with other authors. Instagram, Twitter are great places to meet other authors. Encourage each other, lift each other up, advertise for each other, cross-promote, are really, really, really great ways to just build up this community of people that we are in, because it's a great community. The author community is awesome. So we want to lift each other up and encourage each other and help each other out. And yeah, so group giveaways is a really good way to build your email marketing list. Also, if you have something when you're doing those releases and those launches of merch items or special limited editions of your books or whatever, that's a good time to do a raffle and have people enter the raffle to win whatever it is that you're releasing or you're launching. So again, another opportunity to just grow your email marketing list. So that's writing, step 1. Step 2, hosting live in-person events. Step 3 is having launches and releases. And step 4 is building your email marketing list. So step 5 is you want to broaden your platform. So maybe you're really active on Instagram and Twitter. And those are the platforms that you hang out with the most, that's where you show up, you enjoy those platforms, so that's where you hang out, that's where you engage with your audience. But I challenge you, don't feel, and don't get me wrong, I am not saying that you need to get on every single social media platform. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying think outside the box and give your audience something else to buy into and something else to pass the time while they're waiting for your next book. So I started a YouTube channel. Granted, I don't talk a lot about my books on this YouTube channel. I mostly am talking about self-publishing and other things. I do occasionally talk about my books on this channel, so my readers might still find this interesting. But I'm reaching a whole new audience because I'm reaching out to other authors. I'm also starting a podcast that will be geared more specifically toward my readers. Every season of the podcast will be one of my books. Every episode of the podcast will be a chapter of my book and talking about it almost kind of book club style. I'm going to be sharing like behind the scenes or like, oh, this is what inspired that scene in the book. Or this is something that happened to me while I was writing that part, or this character is kind of loosely inspired by so-and-so that I know, and those things, or the deeper meanings and themes of the book, like we can have that discussion in a podcast in the way that we can't necessarily just posting on Instagram. So podcasts, YouTube are great options for authors to get into. So broaden your platform and just brainstorm ideas of like things that your audience would want from you that you feel comfortable offering. The last thing is that quality time with your audience, getting to know them so that you can get to know what it is they want from you. What is that thing that they want you to launch or release? What is that platform that they wish you hung out on? A lot of people were telling me like it's so cool to talk to you about the book or to ask the questions, or I'm actually reading through my book with a book club right now, and they've been like, it's so cool that you're here and that we can ask these questions like as we're reading the book, like we can ask you and stuff like that. And so that really helps me to know like that podcast is probably a good idea, doing a book club style podcast. My readers would probably enjoy that because I have had other readers tell me that they do. And so, yeah, just brainstorm, get to know your audience, listen to them, note what questions they're asking the most often. How can you fill that need in some way? What are the things that they really cling to in your book and that stick out to them? Is there a form of merch that you could create that they would really like to have? Stuff like that. Like just get to know them and listen to what your audience is wanting, and then brainstorm how it is that you can fill that space. So that is like after your book launch is really just diving into writing your next book, getting in there, sharing that process with your audience, hanging out with your audience, building that audience, and keeping them engaged. So the two things I want you to take away from this video is that you have got to start writing the next book. You've got to be writing. You've always basically got to be writing. And the second thing is it's all about your audience. Without your audience, you have nothing. Without a book and without your audience, you have nothing. You have no career, you have no book sales, you have nothing to talk about, post about, whatever. Like those are the two things that make up this whole gig, is you having a good quality book and people who want to read it. Period. Dive into those things. It takes both. The audience engagement. So think of marketing as this. You are not trying to push out your book and get people to buy it. That's not good marketing. Good marketing is building a relationship with your audience and letting people who would be interested in your book know that it's available. You're not trying to get people who don't read that genre to buy your book. You're not just trying to push sales on people. You're not just trying to sling your book to whoever will buy it. You want people who will read, enjoy, and love your book to know that it's there, because they're going to read and love your book. It's for them. It's not just for you. You're getting a book sale, but they're buying into a fandom. As a writer, realize that you have nothing without another book and your audience. View marketing as building a relationship with your audience and growing a community. Not pushing book sales, not slinging books, trying to make that dough. That's not what marketing is about. Marketing as an author is about building your community. If you're a fiction author, you might want to think of it as you're building a fandom. You're building a community of people who are geeking out over this thing that you've created. So build your community, hang out with them, and they'll keep showing up because they're invested now in you, not just your book, but they're invested in you. And they'll keep coming back and they'll keep buying more books because they enjoy the friendship, the relationship that they have with the other readers, that they have with you. They feel connected to you. That's what it's all about. So marketing does not have to be crazy scary. It doesn't have to be super intimidating. It doesn't have to be success or failure. As long as you're consistently building your community, you have people who are waiting and willing to buy your next book. Just focus on building friendships, building relationships, build a community. That is your mission after your book release. Keep building your community and write the next book. If you have any questions about anything that I said in this video, if there's anything that you want me to talk about in next week's video, which is going to be a good one, we're going to be talking about how to make this sustainable. So if you're just getting started, if you're a first-time author, or you're just still thinking about it, or maybe you have published a book or two, but it's a struggle and you're not really sure how to find the steady flow, and it's a lot of like, oh, book release, and then I fall off the face of the planet and stuff like that. If you want to learn more about how to make this sustainable and how to keep this going and keep the flow steady, then we're going to be talking about that in next week's video. So I hope you'll show up, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell so you're notified when that video goes up, because my schedule has been super inconsistent lately. I'm actually under quarantine right now. I do not have COVID, but apparently I was in contact with somebody who does. So I'm under quarantine. I don't know what's coming next. I'm literally just taking it one day at a time. So I don't know exactly when the next video is going to be up. I'm hoping next week. We'll see what happens. But that 4th episode of the Self-Publishing Bootcamp is going to be how to do this sustainably, and how to, basically make this author thing a career, make it a full-time gig for you if that's what you're looking to do. So we're going to be having that discussion in the next video. I hope you'll join me. Until then, bye guys. To afterwards, oh my gosh, Crookshanks. No one wants a cat butt in the video. Motorcycle driving by, so your timing's impeccable. Cats, man. Cats. Anyways. Honey, Mama needs you to go. You're a distraction. And they're finding a new community, and there's a bug. Come on. I love you. I love you. But I need you to go away. Can I kiss it first? This video has been such a struggle to film. Oh my word. Get down, baby. What did you just knock over? What was I even saying? We're just gonna reset. No, it's not. Today is a struggle bus. I'm so out of it. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt. She is all up in the camera. Honey, go away. I love you. You're cute. Go away. So as a writer, you'll notice I'm wearing my writing hat. This cat. Honey. Honey, what are you doing? Is to host events. So for that month or two, oh my God. Okay, kitten, you've got to go.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and you hit that little bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. See you guys next Tuesday.